Good morning, guys. Hope you had a great start to the 2026 new year. Cricket is off to the races. We have a ton of news to cover in a short period of time. Let's get to it. The first most important piece of news: Bangladesh. Bangladesh has already told India they're refusing to travel to India for the World Cup. They've asked that all their matches be moved to Sri Lanka. Guess what? Today, Bangladesh banned IPL broadcast in public interest. Obviously, all of this is coming out after the Fizz was kicked out of the IPL. So this is huge news. Obviously, this becomes the topic of discussion, and it actually, is the main news on Cricinfo, unfortunately, for Joe Root. Because what Joe Root did yesterday and the fifth test in the Ashes was such big news that if this whole Bangladesh India fiasco wasn't going on, we would be talking about Joe Root. And we still will talk about Joe Root because I think Joe Root is now starting to become one of the best ever test cricketers in cricket history, especially as a batsman. What you saw yesterday, that performance from Joe Root, 160, and getting England to 384. Obviously, England has had a tough time at the Ashes. They're down 3-1. They're hoping for 3-2 at the end of stumps on day two of the fifth test. Obviously, listen, most tests haven't even gone 2 days, so I think Cricket Australia is glad that they went at least to day three now, right? And they're going to go probably to day 4 and 5 in this test match. But England closed off their innings at 384. Joe Root had 116 in that 384, and then Australia was 166 for two. And Travis Head, the magnificent Travis Head, scoring 91 not out at stumps. So Australia is going to try to chase down this 384, get even with it, or at least get close to it, and then we should have a test match in play at least for this game. But getting back to Joe Root, tremendous performance. He's 63 runs away from 14,000 runs. He's going to be the second test match batsman to get to 14,000. Obviously, Sachin Tendulkar is up there with 15,900 and change. But, Joe Root is fast, chasing it down. One of the biggest things that, I have to mention is that Joe Root has 20 plus centuries in the last 5 years. That is an amazing stat. He has 41 centuries in a row. I think he has 24 centuries since 2021, and he keeps on slapping on these centuries day after day. Unbelievable performance by this guy. I think he's one of the best batsmen of this generation. Obviously, what you saw with Bazball and the way Bazball was being played, it looks like Root is the real Bazball. That option of striking the ball, he's still striking at 66 strike rate under Ben Stokes. So what it looks to me that pre-Bazball, in 117 tests, he was going at a strike rate of 54.65, but he's just taken off, and he's striking at 66. So strike rate is not a problem for Joe Root in the Bazball era, and the amount of runs that this guy is scoring is unbelievable. He keeps on scoring runs. I can't wait for Joe Root to get to 16,000 runs. Once he gets to 16,000 runs, there's going to be all sorts of discussions about who the greatest test cricketer and the greatest test batsman is of all generations. And I think Joe Root's name is going to pop up just with the sheer fact that somebody like Joe Root can score these many runs. This is a tremendous amount of runs that this guy scored. He's 60 plus runs away from 14,000. Now, just to give you an idea, he's had a lot of competition. Virat Kohli, Kane Williamson, Steve Smith. There's been many, many batsmen in his era who've all scored runs. And guess who's come out on top? It's Joe Root. So congratulations to Joe Root on his 41st century. I think he's going to get to 50 centuries for sure. I think he's going to get to 16,000 runs. There's a lot of time left in his career, and I think by the time he's done, he's going to be on top of that list.